What's going on, guys? Alex, and in today's video I want to show you how to do local SEO for your wedding photography site. I have quite an interesting whiteboard here to walk you through exactly what you need, how it works, and how to structure your own site so that you can start showing up organically for Google searches. Now, before I get into that, keep in mind that this is a long-term process. You're not going to show up overnight, especially in a competitive area. For example, Miami wedding photographer, there's only 2 organic listings right here and right here are the only organic listings on the page. The rest are directories, Instagram accounts, and of course at the very top, ads and Google business profiles. So all of this is incredibly important. All of this works together. But if you want a chance to actually show up organically and get pretty low cost, if not free leads over time from organic searches, you also need to be focusing on SEO. So I will walk you through that today. By the way, if you need help for SEO with your wedding photography business, or you just have any questions about SEO or Google Ads or your digital marketing strategy in general, click the link down below, book a call with me. I'm happy to take a look at your website, happy to take a look at your Google Ads, and even just discuss your digital marketing strategy. And of course, see if there is any opportunity to work together to get you more wedding photography leads. Otherwise, let's just jump right into it. So I've just got a few of the main aspects, factors of local SEO that you need to include in your site, and then how to structure it. And I'll just walk you through each of these and explain why it's important and how you can implement it on your own site. So the first thing, the most important thing for SEO, especially for local SEO, for example, wedding photography, is that you want to include the main keyword. So that's going to be wedding photographer, wedding photography, as well as your service, right, which is just wedding photography, and city. So your main keyword in this case is wedding photography, that's your service, and city, you want to include that on your homepage, and any other pages that you have, any other services that you offer, you want to include that main keyword, that main service, as well as the location. So this is the website I'll use as an example. I love this site. It's designed to convert. It's working very well. It's ranking very well. I'm not sure what this error is here. I'm not sure if that's just this is a page load issue. But anyways, from an SEO perspective, if we look at how their page is structured right now, the title, right? The main title of their page is the location plus their service. So Toronto wedding photographers, and they even snuck the wedding photography keyword in there. And then the description as well includes the service. So wedding photographers in Toronto voted as the best wedding photography service, serving Miami, as well as, that's interesting, as well as worldwide. But even if we look at the H1 here, right, it does not represent what we need, but the title and description overall are fantastic. Now, along with that, you want your main keyword, so your service, your wedding photography service, to be in the H1 heading on every single page. So for in this case, right, for most wedding photographers, you're only going to have just one page, your home page, targeting your main service. But this company also has other services: family portrait, corporate headshots, and bar bat mitzvah. And then if you look at how this page is structured, their title keyword is Toronto family portrait photographers, family photography. Right, and then even here, it's probably just my internet, which is the reason why it's not loading. But you can also see the headline on this page is Toronto corporate headshots, right? Corporate headshots photography. It's mentioning Toronto in the description as well. So incredibly relevant, incredibly helpful, incredibly useful, both for users and for search engines. Another thing you want to focus on is making sure that the other headings on your page, so the H2 and H3 headings, do include the relevant keywords for your business. Let me just fix this a little. I don't like how this is a little bit of a gap. There we go. And you want to add additional services or aspects or features of your wedding photography business to the H3 headings, and any additional headings you want to build out on your homepage. And on every page that you have, the headings should include relevant services, relevant features, relevant factors about your wedding photography business. So if we look here, they do have headlines. Right, the headlines do mention, right, photography packages, booking platform doesn't matter, but available in the GTA and surrounding area, the process, online gallery. All of these headings are sending signals to Google that this page is about, in this case, family portraits. But if we look at the wedding photography page, right, we can see featured wedding, right? All of these headlines are mentioning keywords, are mentioning things that are relevant enough to wedding photography to give Google the right idea for what the page is about. And we can even see here the headlines here, right? It does mention featured wedding, why work with us, memories, meet the team, right? Social media, it's mentioning more weddings, right? All this is setting signals to Google for what the page is about, as well as providing the user guidance for what they're looking for. And from your homepage, you do want to be linking all of your relevant pages from the homepage. So in the case of wedding photography, you would be linking out to your pricing, your portfolio, and we can see here that these guys are linking out in the menu. Of course, if you can link out somewhere else on the page, right, in a section where it makes sense, then that is also going to be super helpful. But these guys are linking out in the menu with family portrait, with corporate headshot as the actual anchor text. So the link text is family portrait. It's the service that they offer. Corporate headshots, that's the link text. That is the service. Super relevant links. And then they also went ahead and linked some of those here in the bottom under services. Now, what these guys didn't do is they do not have a broad services page. I would recommend including one. And they also don't have a location page, just because they are, as a wedding photographer, you are servicing pretty much one area, one city, but it does send the right signals to Google to have a locations page where you might even just talk about your local area, how you're providing these services, how you're taking photos at these specific wedding venues, you're showing photos in very specific areas. Mentioning these areas on the page is going to be super helpful for Google as well. And two more other important things to keep in mind is you probably don't need a blog. Right, I see a lot of websites, a lot of website owners get stuck into paying for blog content, but with so much AI content out there, it's not necessary. And I'll just show you why on this example here. If we go to blog, right, we'll see the kind of content they're pushing. And this is actually quite relevant to their service, but top 6 things to include in your wedding detail photos is probably not necessary. Top 5 wedding photography trends. Nobody is looking this up, landing on this website, and then deciding, wow, I want to book with them. Instead, what you should do, and what I mentioned, is create content that's actually helpful and useful to your audience. So for example, elegant backyard wedding. If you are a wedding photographer, right, this is a post that is actually going to drive relevant traffic. People are going to land on this page, whether from organic search or from browsing your website, see the great photos you took, get inspired, and are way more likely to work with you than if they landed on a page about the things to include in your wedding details, right? So some of these are relevant, which is really good, but some of them are just not at all relevant. Wedding reception photo ideas is not going to benefit you. It's just not the best use of your time, not the best use of your budget, and does not really benefit you from an SEO perspective. And finally, if you don't have it set up already, you want to go ahead and set up your Google Business Profile, only because, like I mentioned in a lot of my videos, for every single search, for example, Miami wedding photographer, right? We've got 4 ads. So if you're not running ads, you should be. I have videos on that. But also the next thing people see is going to be Google Business Profiles. And this is a fantastic way to drive tons of organic leads, to get calls and website visits all the time, especially if you're running ads and showing up here. You're capturing a huge percentage of traffic, a huge percentage of people are clicking through these, looking at reviews, looking at websites, and that's after the people that have already clicked on one of the ads. And as you can see here, for a wedding photographer in Miami, most of your competition has no idea what they're doing when it comes to ads. So it's imperative that you set up your Google Business Profile and that you focus on getting as many reviews as you can, as often as you can. And now, how to structure the website, as well as getting into citations really quickly. This will be a pretty good idea of how to structure your website. Most of you, if you're only offering wedding photography, you probably don't even need a services section, right? But you should definitely include a service area. Even if you are, for example, in Miami and you just mentioned things like Miami, right? Miami wedding venues we've shot at, our favorite Miami photos, not necessarily blogs, but you're mentioning this on the actual service area page where you're just talking about Miami and how you take photos, you offer your services within the Miami area. It just helps with relevance. It helps with context for Google, for search engines. And there's always a chance that someone's going to land on that page from a search, see that you do offer your service, your wedding photography service in Miami, and then they're going to click through to your homepage or contact page and get in touch with you. And it does look like I missed a contact page on here. And yes, this is perfect. Another thing you need to focus on here is citations. So citations are basically, they're websites, like in this case for wedding photography, the knots, and you'll see them here on the search I have here, Wedding Wire is a citation, is a local directory. The Knot is a local directory, right? These are all citations you want to build. Weasery, Party Slate. These are all local directories that you want to get your website listed on, as well as other more common directories like Yellow Pages, Apple Maps, right? Bing Places, Trustpilot, if you can, Hot Frog. These are all local directories. These are all what are known as citations. And you want to be building these because these are trust signals to Google, and they act as votes, right? They act as votes in the eyes of search engines. So the more relevant and authoritative locations that your website can be found on. So when it is linked to, when there are links to your site from, for example, Instagram, YouTube, this signals to Google that you do have a real business, especially if you're active on here. These are fantastic ways to drive traffic as well and get leads, and as well as having it listed on Apple Maps, Bing Places, right? OpenStreetMap, Trustpilot, and then even further getting it listed on these websites like, for example, The Knot and Wedding Wire, right? These all just send the right trust signals to Google. People are going to be visiting your website from these sites. They're going to be interacting and engaging with your content. They're going to be spending time on your site, and all of this just tells Google it's a relevant site, that you do actually, in fact, offer these services. And the more time people spend on your site, especially if they're visiting from these directories and other citation sites, the more likely you are to rank, the better signals you send to Google, and the more authoritative your website seems in the eyes of Google. And in the end, that is really what you want. And so if you do follow these steps here, right, which you can just read and check out right here, and you do structure your site in a way that does make sense. So you're listing your homepage, about page. I did miss a contact page here, but I will add this to the whiteboard here, right? If you have all this, and then you are linking regularly to your Google Business Profile, right? You're building citations, everything's pointing to Google Business Profile, to your homepage. All of this over time, right? In this time span of say 6 to 12 months, you'll start seeing really good results. You'll start driving a lot of organic traffic, and that is really what you need to be doing if you do want to show up on Google for your wedding photography business. Hopefully this was helpful. If you did make it this far, thank you for watching. Don't forget, click the link down below. You can book a call with me. Happy to take a look at your website or make any recommendations, or even implement an SEO strategy if that is something that you're looking for. Otherwise, like I said, you guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.